We got the Kansas City Chiefs slide into Baltimore to take on LaMarvelous and the Baltimore Ravens. Oh my goodness, it doesn't get no better than this, people. Lamar Jackson, who's about to win his second MVP award, going against Patrick Mahomes, who is in his sixth straight AFC Championship. And listen, I came out a couple of weeks ago and I told you guys that Lamar Jackson is the best quarterback in the NFL. Well, now this is going to be his opportunity to prove it. And let me tell you guys something, man. The Kansas City Chiefs, they should not be overlooked in this game. Like, I had a friend of mine who I had to convince not to take the Baltimore Ravens to beat Kansas City by more than 7.5. I get that Kansas City looked really, inconsistent during the majority of the regular season on offense. But sometimes you'll have teams that when they get to the playoffs, they're a better version of themselves than what they were in the regular season. You see, playoff football is a lot different from regular season football. And Andy Reid and Patrick Mahomes have the ability to elevate when the stakes are the highest. And their offense has played their best games of the season the last 2 weeks against the Buffalo Bills and against the Miami Dolphins. And both of those two teams had pretty solid defenses. The Buffalo Bills, I'll say solid, not great, because they've had injuries. But against the Baltimore Ravens, they know that they have a disadvantage when it comes to talent. But that doesn't mean that they're not going to have an opportunity to keep this thing close. They have Patrick Mahomes, Andy Reid, and Travis Kelce playing at a high level. I thought Travis Kelce was washed at this point, but he's turned it up a notch the last couple of weeks. So as long as you got Patrick Mahomes and Andy Reid and Travis Kelce, you always got a chance. And Patrick Mahomes is like Tom Brady now. All right? He's not exactly like Tom Brady, but he's damn near close to him. And you can never count out Patrick Mahomes. You know how people used to be like, man, I'm finna take the Patriots to win just because they got Brady? Well, you can kind of make that same argument for Patrick Mahomes. And with how he's been playing, he's been damn near unstoppable. He's been making no mistakes. He's been like a machine back there. He's just been completing every single pass that there is to make. And he's leading Kansas City up and down the field. And Kansas City's offensive line has played their best football too. But Baltimore, though, they play their best football when they're at home. We seen them clobber the Lions at home. We saw them demolish the Seattle Seahawks. But one thing about Baltimore that concerns me in this game is their consistency on offense. This offense doesn't play as good as what they should. And the Kansas City Chiefs got a really good defense. Now, they do have an injury to one of their linebackers, Willie Gay. We don't know if he's going to be able to play in this game. I believe that he has a neck injury. So we don't really know about his status. But despite the injuries that Kansas City may have, they still have really good coaching. Steve Spagnuolo is one of the most respected defensive coordinators in the National Football League. You got Chris Jones. L'Jarius Sneed is locking everything up. Did you not see him jam Tyreek Hill to the ground? Had that boy knees ashy, man. Like, they got some ball players on Kansas City's defense. And I don't believe this is going to be a game that, Lamar Jackson is just going to get it easy. You feel me? This is going to be a defense that this Ravens offense is going to have to earn every single yard. Now, they got a really good offensive line. Kansas City has a pretty good defensive line, but Chris Jones is going to be there. And Buffalo did have success running the football, but they're going to have a way different game plan because they're going up against Lamar Jackson. So they're going to put a lot more emphasis on slowing down the run game probably than what they did last week. I don't really know what they had going on last week. Maybe their game plan just was that maybe they didn't even expect Buffalo to run the football as much, because Buffalo in the past hasn't really been known to run the ball as much as what they did last week with James Cook. But even then, late in the game, they still kind of played back into the Chiefs' hands when they forced them to throw the football. They probably were having the thinking that maybe they could get Josh Allen to throw a mistake, because the more you ask him to throw the football, the higher chance he has of turning it over. With Lamar Jackson, he's a more efficient passer than Josh Allen. But when the Ravens are at their best is when they've had the ability to run the football. Now, Lamar Jackson, he's been on one as of late. All right. And no matter what game plan the Chiefs have, Lamar Jackson, once he gets going like how he did last week against the Houston Texans, it's wraps. And we saw what Josh Allen did last week. This Chiefs defense, they came through in the fourth quarter, but for the first three, this dude, Josh Allen, was a human highlight reel. He was making every throw that you could make, and he was making all kinds of big runs. Lamar Jackson, he's more scarier than Josh Allen. And you look at how these linebackers have that injury to one of their starters, that's going to be huge because you need speed out there at linebacker to be able to contain somebody like Lamar Jackson. Or you're either going to have to put a safety closer to the line of scrimmage if you want to try to keep him from breaking loose outside. And then if you want to box him in and try to make him a passer, he's just going to dice you up because somebody's going to be open in your secondary. So whether that be Zay Flowers, maybe L'Jarius Sneed can take him out the game. But then you got OBJ. Y'all don't know about playoff OBJ. You see, they haven't really used him that much because I believe they're trying to save OBJ for games like this. And this is when a guy like OBJ could really have a standout performance. And then you got Rashad Bateman. And then Mark Andrews potentially could play in this game. Okay, so if they got Mark Andrews back, you better watch out. But even then, they're going up against a really well-coached defense. This is probably the best coached defense that they faced all season long. Better than the Cleveland Browns. The Cleveland Browns defense doesn't play good on the road. That's why they lost to Houston. So this is a Chiefs team that you can't overlook. You really can't. And they do have Patrick Mahomes and Andy Reid. So no matter what, they're going to find a way to keep this thing close. And their offensive line is playing really good right now. If their offensive line continues to play that way, this is going to be a ball game, folks. I'm taking the Ravens to win. I can't go against that young legend out of Pompano, man. This is the year for Lamar Jackson. Lamar Jackson is ready. He's going to be up for this game. He's out to prove himself this year. And Patrick Mahomes, they got a squad, but I just believe that this is going to be the game where Lamar Jackson just finds a way to get it done. And the Ravens defense is good enough that you can ask them to go on the field and win the game. Try to keep Mahomes from scoring. Give me Baltimore 27-24. Lamar Jackson, he's taking those boys to the Super Bowl. You remember what he said when he got drafted? They're going to get a Super Bowl out of me. Trust, believe that. I believe it, Lamar. I believe it. But you got to show me.